Greetings, fellow armchair Imagineers! Tiki here.
And Blue Dragon 5.
Ladies and gentlemen, as we find ourselves in the midst of Disney's big venture into the world of streaming, having started a war in the process, we thought it would be nice to stay up to date on the ever-growing catalog and rule on what's a must or a bust on Disney Plus. And tonight, there's a storm coming. We're talking about Book of Boba Fett, Season 1, Episode 4, The Gathering Storm. All right, and we have Aid March and also Donovan Martin in the comments. Aid March said, really good episode. Hopefully, finally, happy we finally got a good amount of Fennec. Looking forward to the discussion. Donovan says, that ending melody, holy shit. Can't wait for this week. Also, I heard many say that Boba may in fact enlist the Bad Batch, Bosk, and even Han Solo himself. Okay, lots of stuff going on. Dragon, I'm gonna rip off the Band-Aid. So Aid March and Donovan both really stoked about this episode. Oh, I'm gonna feel like the bully here. I'm sorry. I didn't dig this one, Dragon. I really didn't. To me, this just felt like a whole bunch of stuff that we pretty much could already like piece together from other information. I don't know, like the Fennec stuff. It's cool, like, you know, and I am happy to see Fennec in a bigger role, and I do think the flashback was valuable. Dragon, that flashback just dragged on for so goddamn long. That's my main issue with this episode, for sure. I really felt like the flashback stuff could have maybe been like 10, 15 minutes of this episode. But it really was just a lot. It was a lot. I mean, don't get me wrong. The Sarlacc Pit was cool. Of course it was cool. You know me. I love to see the Sarlacc Pit. We kind of got the death of the Sarlacc Pit as well, which was surprising. Dragon, that scene felt straight out of Star Tours, did it not?
The Sarlacc scene?
Yeah.
Yeah, it did, yeah.
That was the big highlight for me. I mean, I like seeing Fennec's character development. I just didn't really think it needed to be that long-winded. And then honestly, when we get to the real world, you know, or not the real world, to the the current timeline, it's decent. I just feel like it's once again like another kind of like, all right, we're putting the chess pieces on the board. Like, I feel like we've been doing this for a couple episodes now, like setting up this big threat that I don't even really think we know all that much about, or at least I, as someone who hasn't watched the extended Star Wars stuff, doesn't know that much about. You know, I mean, certainly the possibility of team ups with the Bad Batch or, you know, Harrison Ford or whatever, that's all cool, certainly. Looking forward to it. I'm just saying, man, this episode really, for me, it's definitely the weakest of the four so far, and it's to the point where I'm kind of I've kind of flipped to you know, some of the critics of the first couple episodes. Dragon, I'm kind of in their headspace where I was loving the first couple episodes. I loved all the Tusken stuff, as you know. Episode 2 for me in particular, maybe my favorite episode of any Disney Plus Star Wars show, just because of how much of a deep dive into the Tusken culture it was. I don't know, these last couple episodes really haven't grabbed me. I'm not a fan of the Alita Battle Angel type cyberpunk stuff. I'm really not. I just don't really feel like it feels like Star Wars. Yeah, I don't know. This episode just didn't do it for me, Dragon. It really, like, you know, there were one or two highlight moments for me. You know, the Sarlacc Pit being the big one, but other than that, it really was just kind of a wash for me overall, and I feel bad, folks. It obviously, I want to just say, you know, obviously, you know, this is just my opinion. If you love this episode, that's totally cool, and also, it should be noted that I have not watched Clone Wars or Bad Batch or Rebels or any of that stuff. Yeah, Donovan, like you're just saying, like you just pointed out, you know, I'm sure if you're more in tune to Star Wars and the overall expanded universe of it all, I'm sure this stuff is a lot more exciting. I'm sure of it, for sure, no doubt. But anyways, Dragon, what do you think of this?
So, yeah, I'm kind of on the other side of the coin on this one. I this it's
Oddly,
it,
most people are. That's okay. I don't
this
know why this one didn't grab me.
this one actually might be my favorite yet, but I
And
want to be very.
Dragon, that's what I've heard from most people. So it's totally fine. I'm definitely in the minority here.
Here's the thing, though. This might be my favorite yet. I did have a couple issues with it, but that didn't really get in the way of my enjoyment of it. And
Okay.
I had a really good time with it. I'm hoping. I will say this. I think the next episode is going to be a very telling kind of, because I think with 7 being an odd number, this is kind of our middle episode. Let's say. I mean, you can say it with 3, but let's just I'd say it here because I think this episode is the tipping point in that. I'm hoping that this is the definite end to, honestly, for the whole kit and caboodle.
I mean, the droid said that the healing was done, Dragon. No more path to tanks, for God's sake.
So that's
no
what I'm saying.
So
Based on that, literally our flashback structure, and this is what I was teeing up to when you had not finished the
right,
episode.
right,
Yeah. The whole thing. I mean, yeah, I know it's another flashback, but it sounds like this one really does sound like it's the end of the framing device setup. So,
I mean, if we break that BAFTA take out, Dragon, it's literally just Boba Fett being like, "I'm going to take a spa day at this point."
Yeah. So, anyway, so 4 episodes. In my estimation, we've taken 4 episodes to really get to know Boba Fett. What he's learned. Now where his new approach is coming from, what he wants. This episode really told us like what he's looking for, why he wants to be a daimyo, all that sort of stuff. And I think I think we're building to basically a 3-part war story. I think ultimately is what the next 3 episodes are going to be, like how that breaks down. I think that's going to be the real make or break for the season and the show as a whole. Like, if these next 3 episodes don't deliver, that's going to lend credence to people coming down on the show. If these 3 episodes, particularly the next one is like another flashback episode somehow. And if it's not even that, if it's more so just like the whole episode, like if the pacing and things are off, and if we just take another episode just to completely spin our wheels and not do stuff that's really gonna kind of take us someplace, I don't know. The show might be in trouble. I don't think it's necessarily going to kill my enjoyment of it so far, but that might. I think it's not going to bode well for with only 3 episodes left.
I mean, I'll say one thing: through 4 episodes, my opinion of it being better than Mando has definitely evaporated. After episode 2, I was feeling that way. I was like, "Oh man, if they keep this up," but and it's still good, Dragon. I want to emphasize it's still good. I still liked this episode. I thought, honestly, Dragon, my only real flaw with this episode is I thought the pacing was a little off. I really thought. Go ahead.
So Aiden Marsh brings up something in the comments I wanted to shout out. So he said,
the only flashback I could see is Cobb Vanth.
So that's the thing. So with I wanted to mention.
So they could do more flashbacks.
Well, no. Here's what I think is going to happen. So he's right in that the only hanging chad we have in our narrative that we can easily see here is like, okay, well, Cobb Vanth had the armor, and then he followed Mando to get the armor back.
Right.
The implication being he's going to ask, hey, Cobb Vanth, where'd that guy go? So that scene happens. Now, remember, Cobb Vanth is on Tatooine, so they are neighbors. So very easily,
that's just exactly how the scene's going to go. It's just Boba Fett's going to pull up, "Hey, Cobb Vanth, where'd that guy go?"
No, but seriously, I think what we're going to do in lieu of, I think what I'm hoping happens is in lieu of a flashback, just so we can put an end to the whole flashback structures, Cobb Vanth will just factor into the story as the backup and as the muscle, perhaps. I think Cobb Vanth will just help the cause.
I think I would be surprised if he didn't pop up at some point.
I'm convinced he's going to pop. Just the question of, like, I hope we do in the present rather than flashback, just to kind of like cut the cord there.
For sure.
Because it's not that I think
it would be funny if Cobb Vanth came in and Boba was like, "Cobb, would you like to use my tank?" And then the tank is just like, once again, the flashback device. It's like, sure, I'm a little knocked up, Boba. I'd love to. And then he gets in the tank, and then I don't know, Dreg. There's something about that tank where it's like the first couple times I did, I was like, all right, that's a pretty decent way to show the character.
Let me walk you through my reaction, though. So when the back to tank started the episode, my response.
I was instantly just, you got to be fucking kidding me.
I had a bit of the same reaction. Here's what I started off. I was skeptical of, like, at first I was really skeptical, like, oh no, the back tank again. We had like a great wrap up to the thing, and but then ultimately that payoff of him being fully healed and we're all caught up, and we kind of done like what we're hoping Better Call Saul at some point does for an episode or two with the last season. It's like, okay, we're gonna bridge the gap. We're okay. We've covered the territory we know about. We filled
don't compare this to Better Call Saul. Come
no,
on.
I'm not
Come
comparing it to,
on.
I'm not comparing it to the show. I'm comparing it to where again, the thing we are expecting with the next season, Better Call Saul, which you are going to have a Bridging the Gap episode.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, Dragon, Better Call Saul has taken like half a decade to get to the point it's at now.
Okay, okay, I'm just saying we've been expecting a point regardless of I'm saying it's the same type of thing where it's going to be basically there's a bit where we know what happens, but we're seeing it from the other side of it.
Right, I hear what you're saying. Yeah,
that's all I'm saying. But yes.
Yeah.
Regardless, so I like that we took the episode to bridge like any of the last remaining, like everyone's saying, well, what about the Mando crossover? Well, there you go. There's that scene we hyped up in the first season of Mando. We saw the other side of it. So, and ultimately it was a cool adventure in flashback. And then mainly, big takeaway, we got to know Fennec Shand a little bit and why the heck Fennec Shand is hanging out with Boba Fett.
So that was definitely the valuable part of the episode. Like I said, I feel like my opinion of this episode would be higher if the flashback and present day stuff was a little bit more 50-50. Honestly, Dragon, I did like at a certain point with the Fighty McFight stuff to get Jabba's ship back. I literally was like, or I'm sorry, not Jabba's ship
get
back.
Boba's ship back.
I was literally just like, okay, like obviously we know he's going to get the ship back. This is a pretty drawn out fight. I'm literally just going to fast forward this because.
And again, look, I do have issues. I have an issue within that sequence, which we'll get to. But
okay,
yeah, it's basically. With the Fennec Shand of it all, though, again, I do want to highlight. I don't know if I've been serving it well enough as we've been going through these. Particularly, I think the last episode, especially, I've been loving Ming-Na Wen as Fennec Shand every time she shows up. But particularly this show, man, she's been seeing her dynamic with Boba Fett and seeing the.
I think she really came alive. Like her big breakout was the very end of Mando season 2 with the. Where she has that big drink in her hand and she takes the swig. I really think that was the first, like, I mean, she was cool before then on Mando, but that was the first, like, oh man, who is this girl?
Because you gotta remember, a lot of it was like, oh, you remember Ming-Na Wen when she was introduced, and then it was like,
right,
when she was a package deal with Boba Fett. Oh man, this character's really cool. I want to know more about it. She's popping up in the Bad Batch, and then we're giving her full on like co-lead status with this show. And she's been great, and I like that. I like the foundation of the friendship, and now getting this episode, we kind of know what founded it. We're okay. The now enlightened Boba Fett that we've seen his plight with the Sand People, he sees himself in Fennec being left for dead in the sands of Tatooine.
Right, exactly, yeah.
And he saves her, and this is what I'm saying to you. I see what Rodriguez is doing, and again, we still have 3 episodes to go, so we'll see if he can really pull everything off. But so far, I'm filled with confidence in that. Okay. As I speculated with the 3rd episode, the modifier guys and the whole, the street gang being modified, that kind of pays off here. And like, okay, that's additionally why he took on the
I still think the modifier guys seem out of place. I'm sorry, Dragon. It literally feels like Alita Battle Angel characters just invaded the Star Wars universe. I'm sorry.
But again, look at this thing here where we're seeing the connect between Fennec and the Fennec is modified and that saved her life.
Mean, I get it, but I don't know. Maybe it's the costuming. Maybe I really didn't like that guy's hair. Again, Dragon, just the aesthetic feels off. The aesthetic feels off.
I'll meet you halfway with something. Okay?
All right.
I'll meet you halfway in that I think the gang, I prefer the gang themselves. The modifier guy in question, bit much. He's a bit much. Yeah, that one's a bit more. Yeah.
All right, good. I'm glad we could come to some.
I'll give you that. I'll give you that. I'm just saying in concept, I like why. Like, okay, that's why I took him on. Additionally, there's a fundamental reason. Maybe not, the idea.
Aid Mark says the retrieval of Slave One was a bit drawn out. Yeah, totally. And that was like my big issue with this episode just in general was a lot of it was just getting the Slave One back. And obviously we know that he gets the Slave One back. So
let me tell you why.
It's literally no tension for me in those moments.
It is drawn out, but let me tell you what I really like about just the mission itself in retrieving Slave One. I like that we're kind of mirroring one of my favorite aspects of Mando that we really liked and making almost even more appropriate with Boba Fett here, where Mando, as we built it up like the first season, even going to the second season, it's him regaining kind of elements of, like he gets the jetpack at the end of season 1 of Mandalorian, and that's him again getting more like iconography of Boba Fett, so to speak, and more so. Well, now we know Mandalorian culture more so. But it's the fact that he's gaining bits that kind of like flesh out the characterization. He's kind of regaining parts of his identity. And by the end of season 2, he's got the spear and he's got the dark saber. He's regaining parts of the culture. So in regards to Boba Fett, we're taking the literal kind of initial namesake, kind of the initial visual sake, kind of character there, where he's earning and reclaiming his iconography is what I'm getting at a long drawn out way here. I like that he's okay. So he's getting the ship back after he's been through we stripped everything away from with the Tusken Raiders. He's humbled himself. He's learned. So now he's a much different character. He's then regaining the status and the reputation that he once had to do something new with it. So I like that we're building it step by step with that.
Okay. So the way that you're describing it, Dragon, I'm going to use an analogy here. I'm not sure if you're going to get, but, it's basically like a sequel to a video game where, a lot of times in sequels to video games, because, by the end of a first video game, a lot of times the main character will have like all these powers like built up throughout the game, And so a lot of times what sequels to video games will do, like direct sequels, the inciting incident will be something like Metroid is really good at doing this, for example, where the inciting incident will literally be like something happens to the hero that literally strips them of all their abilities. So that's the in-canon excuse where, even though you had all these abilities at the end of the last game,
you start them all from zero in the next thing. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. So I really like that approach. Yeah.
Yeah. Or if you want to use like kind of like a literal comparisons, like look at Arkham Asylum to Arkham City. We start them off as
sure, exactly, yeah.
And then Lucius Fox has to drop the upgrades for the gadgets and stuff. Yeah, sure. I mean, also the other thing too, I'm really hoping we hit, because obviously we saw the whole armor story in Mando season 2, but the fact that the armor signifies the history of his father, so that's again a big component of the character. So it'll be interesting to see if we can maybe lean a little bit more into the significance of the armor a little more. I mean, we already did that in Mando season 2, so it's not a must, but I like just the idea, and that's in laying out this kind of our story in the matchup to Mando and the link up to it on the other side with the ship and everything. All right, so. But yeah, it does go on a little bit long. I will say this though, just a minor thing. Again, we don't have to really dwell on it. Just the fact that in the retrieval of Slave One, as Aid March points out, so they officially they did the thing. A lot of people, like the diehards, were really up in arms about changing the name of the ship, which bothered me until I realized something that was pointed out to me. Yeah, so apparently, Tiki, in Star Wars, on screen, they never named the ship. Only the toys called it Slave One. That's why everyone was so up in arms about it. So they actually
I'm not surprised. Like, the toys honestly gave way to a lot of, like, name continuity.
Exactly. So, I mean, that's by that... Okay, Aid March says they didn't change the name; they just called it by the month. I mean, sure, Aid March, but I think the point is they're trying to put the new name out there so people stop calling it Slave One. But you're not. But there you go. Yeah. So it's ultimately, I think, in our heart of hearts, it's always going to be Slave One. Whether that's still the case, fingers crossed. But regardless, the what was it called? Like the fire spray, which also it's a cool name. I'll take it. All right. Yes, they are absolutely trying to avoid like the plague. Like for some reasons, like you realize Darth Vader was a slave, right?
Right, exactly.
Well, there's no really change in that. So we can say the word slave in Star Wars. We had slave dancers and everything. We had a whole. It was a thing. Anyway. Okay, so sorry, moving on from that. So yeah, Jabba's Palace, fun. Look, it's a fun mission. Here's my issue. Here's I have two big issues with the episode. Okay. One. Again, this is something I just feared was like a little hiccup, but it's now becoming a bit of a recurring thing. It's not as bad as what we did in the first episode. I think the kids call it nerfing, but the whole Boba Fett thing where those guys with the shields took him out in the first episode. And I remember I've been going on this whole journey. I've been boring you to tears with. I know, but it's this whole dream. Wait a minute, he took out all those stormtroopers in Mando. Why is he getting taken out by these Wakandan shield guys? And in this episode, it's a little worse because, like, you mean to tell me this adorable little rabbit-eared droid is giving Boba Fett?
I really did not like that rabbit-eared droid, Dragon. I really didn't like it at all.
And here's the thing. I think it's cute, but I agree. There's no way in heck this thing should be giving him, like, the run for his money and making him look like, I am Boba Fett. I am Boba Fett. That's...
Also, I think this question has been brought up before about if Salacious B. Crumb is still alive or not. But that character totally should have been Salacious B. Crumb if he is still alive.
Well, the other thing is with Salacious Crumb. Like, I'm just going to assume death because he was like on Jabba's body, and then Jabba's body went down.
Right, yeah.
My assumption is based on that is it's kind of like I don't know if you call it like a parasitic sort of thing, but you know how you like the crocodiles like little birds.
right.
Remember, like they eat the crap inside the crocodile's mouth, or is it an alligator? I think it's like that sort of thing where if a hut dies, then the little creatures didn't really have much purpose, and they're just kind of like, yeah, that was my whole deal, so I'm just gonna die off now.
God.
And if he did get away, we saw what
he literally died of a broken heart.
I think so, honestly. I think that was his whole shtick. He was like laughing at C-3PO. That was his whole thing.
Oh man. I don't know. I'm just saying, how much more fun would it have been if he popped up and was tormenting Boba?
I mean, basically, when you're pitching me, it sounds like you're pitching me like the gopher from Caddyshack with Boba Fett, with Salacious Crumb.
That still would have been more fun than the droid. I don't know.
I mean, it's the same problem, though. He's like going to be shown up by this little thing around all the time. Like, no.
But at least this guy has a legacy factor.
Oh yeah. So, Marsh, thank you for the reminder. Yeah, Cad Bane had essentially this model of rabbit droid. That was Seth. So Seth Green plays his little droid crony, who essentially is the rabbit droid. Yeah, that'd be cool to see too. So a lot of people speculate like Cad Bane might be coming to the fray, which would be awesome. I'm predicting Cad Bane for the Obi-Wan show personally. That's what I think is going to happen, but we'll see. Okay, let's see. Okay, so outside of my issue, okay, so let's talk the Sarlacc Pit Return, man. I really love this.
Okay, I mean, like I said, this might be one of the most Star Tours like scenes that we've gotten since the Millennium Falcon, the first Millennium Falcon chase in Force Awakens, which was then adapted into a Star Tour scene. So there you go.
I want to know if you geeked out at the same thing I geeked out at during this scene.
What?
The special edition nod.
Oh yeah, the beak.
Yeah, because I knew I was the minute they were going down on that thing. It's like, oh boy, it has to be in there.
Totally.
When the light shows, I just knew when they were building the suspense, they're going to come across a little beak in there. It wasn't there originally, but we added it in there anyway. Oh god, and that was awesome. I was like, oh my god,
I mean, you know me, Dragon. The Sarlacc Pit is one of my favorite settings in all of Star Wars. I just love how freaking weird and twisted the thing is on a visual level. And I really want this scene in Star Tours. I'm not kidding. Like this thing feels very, very Star Tours-esque.
It's such a great suspenseful kind of Star Toursy setup where you're leaning the T-shaped spaceship, you're leaning the Slave One or the whatever you want to call it, into like literally the dome into the hole. Like, oh god, we're in so much trouble. Now here's the thing, T. I love all that. More so, I love with kind of a visual image here. I love the symbolism of he's faced his undoing. He's killed the thing that that took everything away from him. He faced his tormentor with the Sarlacc Pit and killed it. By the way, killed it awesomely, like the little discharge thing that comes out of Boba Fett's ship. That was like Django's move, which I love that we've done that here in Mando. We did it here to kill the Sarlacc Pit, which is awesome. I love all that. I love the symbolism, him returning and then climbing out of the pit again, but also with some help with Fennec Shan, representative of the bond, her pulling the rope. Anyway, what I didn't like, I call BS utterly on him thinking that his armor is in the pit.
Oh yeah, totally.
See, to me that's the most. I really love this episode.
I wish that it was more so like him going back to the Sarlacc pit to like face his demons or something more symbolic like that. I
wish it was like that because of the vision or something or like that. It's just, utter BS for him. Because how do you forget that Jawa stole your armor? How do you
right?
Here's the thing, you knew you had the armor when you escaped the Sarlacc Pit and you didn't take it off. So, I don't know. That just
I hear you. That's a big old plot hole.
That's the thing, because I love this episode.
It's like, and I'm not one of those people that throws around the whole, plot hole thing.
Literally,
that is, it's very much a plot hole.
If you were ever going to invoke the plot hole thing, it's literally next to the giant hole in the desert, so...
Right. Oh, speaking of plot holes involving the giant hole in the desert.
All right. Go
Did
on.
it feel a little off to you that he said that this was where I was stuck all those years ago?
Okay, so I did some soul searching on this one, Tiki. So
That felt really, really off to me.
well, what specifically felt off to? I know what I'm
The
thinking.
timeline of
Okay,
it.
yeah, okay, that's okay. We're on the same page. Let me tell you what happened.
Like the Tuscan stuff, like I felt like it happened over the course of like maybe a few months.
So I remember when we talked about the first episode, the read I had apparently was correct because I was fearing
Okay.
that I was wrong about this, but no, it was actually exactly what it seems to be. Where he went into the Sarlacc Pit, and the only reason he survived is that he woke up pretty much like, let's say, I don't know, maybe at most, let's say a week, like however long the events of Return of the Jedi happen. Like I don't forget if it's like a day, how much of a day-night cycle happens in that movie, but the week of
Uh-huh.
that happening is when he wakes up. So he's not there for years. Okay, because remember, he has to gas for breath and he has to take the stormtroopers little oxygen thing. So because of that, we know, okay, because he would have ran out of air and he would have died if he had waited, if he had been down there for more than a week.
Yeah.
So based on that, so we know again he came out pretty much day and day from Jedi. So yeah, that's the only way it works. Because remember, Tegan, here's how we know this is absolutely the case. There's an easy like kind of North Star on this. Cobb Vanth gets the armor right after Return of the Jedi. They
Uh-huh.
blow up the Death Star, they're celebrating, he gets the armor.
Okay, but
So
that still doesn't answer my whole thing of like I'm sorry, go ahead.
It's about basically late. So that's the thing. So yeah, the only way it works, Tiki, based on all those factors, is that yeah, it's a little incongruous, but the way they're saying it happens is he is however you want to split the difference. He's with between the time he's with the Tuscans and he loses the Tuscans. He's kind of wandering his way back to Jabba's palace. That's 5 years, maybe
That
four and
just
a
does, I
half.
mean, I'll accept it, but it just doesn't feel like
I agree with you. It does feel
yeah.
it feels off, and you're not wrong. It feels off, but I mean it's buyable enough. I think it's more buyable than him thinking that the armor's in there. I'll give you that. I'll give it that much.
Uh-huh.
But you're right. It does feel a little off, just given how the passage of time feels. But they never said specifically how long he was there, so that's the wiggle room I'm going to give it.
Okay, fair enough.
Maybe that's just me. All right, let's see. So,
Donovan's pointing out, a person at Reddit pointed out that he blacked out while awake. It's a long post you should read. Your mind under trauma can make you have false memories.
but based on the fact that he had the whole vision quest and he saw Jawas, I think it would have shook something loose. Like I think just why Jawas. It's gonna
Yeah.
be fair point though.
Aid March also agrees with us as the timeline could have been a little bit more clear.
Yeah, because it has to. I think because it has to line up with Mando, so it has to be 5 years. And
Right,
that's
right, yeah.
I just wish they have to have because they had to have worked with that from the beginning. So based on that, you think they would have made the Tuscan thing feel longer. But then again, our flashback structure, we don't want it to go on forever, so they have to kind of condense it. So that's why
It's tricky. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a bit of a sand hole there. Like, oh, you gotta dig your way out a little bit.
One could say it's a bit of a giant hole in the desert.
Yeah, that was my clumsy metaphor. Yeah.
All
right, so let me tell you about my favorite scene in the episode. Now that we do get back to the present.
Yes.
Oh God! I mean, the Sarlacc Pit's awesome, but amidst all that, like, oh man, the BS on that. But beyond that, my favorite scene in the episode. Chrysanthemum, man. Oh, God, I love Chrysanthemum. I love him in Garza's place. And he's seeing the Transdoshans, who are the race that put him in the gladiator pit. And he ain't happy about that. Wookiees do what Wookiees do best. He removes limbs. My favorite bit, though.
He's a really compelling character, for sure.
Not puppetry, just like suit acting wise.
The suit acting, absolutely. Yeah, totally.
Oh my God, Chrysanthemum. I think by the way, because they haven't really come down on this. I think in not so many words, they're basically saying, yeah, we're not. I don't think they're gonna say like he knows him from the past. They kept it.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
I'll take the win, though. Just the fact of, okay, I've always wanted to see these two characters on screen together in live action. We've been pitching it for like that Mando holiday special we did. I just want him. I got my wish. He's working with them now. I'm happy. I'm satiated. I just want them to work together.
I'm glad that it didn't take until like the finale or something for him to come back. I'm glad he came back right away.
Yes, you're right. I'm glad we.
I'm sad that we didn't see Trejo again.
Well, I'm sure he'll be back. He's got to be.
I'm sure he will. Yeah.
I think we'll probably do that next episode because we had the Rancors. Like, Drake, we
I
can't
know. We saw the Rancor. That was fine. Yeah.
But yeah, so just regardless, though, I love. By the way, I like Garza. But how do you feel about Garza?
Remind me who they are.
Oh, the lady who runs the casino with the Twilight.
Oh, I mean, I don't know. She seems fine, to be honest with you. A bunch of these mob leaders kind of blend together in a way, but I do like her tactics with calming down a Wookiee. You know, it takes some skill to do that.
I just like TKs love everything about that scene where he is understandably ticked off at just all Transdoshans, much like Darth Vader hates sand people. And just the fact that Garza attempts to dissuade him. I just love Boba Fett's bearing witness to this. And I love that the compromise, if you notice, the compromise is, okay, she's saying stuff. It's not going to dissuade me at all because I hate these guys, but I'll only rip off one limb, not both.
Right.
He pays his bar tab. Just awesome. So anyway, then you have the job offer. So I just love Boba Fett just saying, well, he gave it a shot.
Exactly.
I loved it so much. So my other thing, I really love that we've been building this for a while. And I think we had a really good payoff this episode. The full on, and by the way, I completely forgot about this, and we're gonna have to do something about this year. Godfather turns 50.
Oh yeah. Oh wow. Yeah.
Yeah, I completely forgot because again, I capped it off at 40, thinking nothing big happened in 50, but no, 50 years. Anyway, so
that's this year. You said
that is this year. It's March. Yeah.
Wow. We might have to do like a Godfather trilogy watch or something.
Well,
I don't know.
I don't know if we should get sued. Well, we'll see. Let's not promise anything, but definitely the first one.
Yeah.
So, because remember, we got a lot going on in March.
No, you're right. Anyways.
All right, so but regardless, we've been building to the mob stuff, and I think we had a great.
I already promised Big Pearl that I was going to catch up on all of the Lilo and Stitch content.
Wait, really? You're not on? Oh yeah, you never got through all. I just remember that.
No, I mean I've seen a lot of it, I'm sure, but I haven't seen any of the sequels.
Yeah, you never did Leroy and Stitch, did you?
Yeah, so that's going to be fun.
What about this? Did you ever finish the series?
No.
Okay, well, there you go. You're in for a treat. Okay, anyway, so what my point is, getting back on topic. Yeah, so I love that, we've been building he had his Godfather sit down at the table. He invited the three families there, and I love he's kind of playing it like Brando. He's playing it like, no drugs. He's I want to not focus on this part of the business in essence here. Where it's like, I want you guys to side with me against the Pikes, otherwise just stay out of my way. And I think that's on brand for Boba Fett, where it's like, okay, I'll handle the job. He's going to re-earn his reputation in the eyes of people doubting his status as the new daimyo. Well, okay, I'll handle it myself. Just don't side against me. Give me a shot. Kind of regal, too, in the direction of the sequence. And in case anyone's doubting him, he's got hype man with Fennec Shand, and he's got the Rancor. They're all sitting over the Rancor pit.
I love that. Yeah. The table is literally over the Rancor pit.
That's a great reveal. And when you think about it, where are they sitting? I think they're in his throne room by that logic.
Oh God.
So that was fun. Yeah.
Yeah, but my one problem with this scene, like I said, is that it really doesn't feel like we're moving the plot forward that much as far as the current day stuff goes. Like, yeah, we're getting everyone on the same page. That's great for sure. I'm just, with only 3 episodes left, I don't know. It's like, Dragon, I guess the main thing is that I want to see more of these villains. I feel like we have not seen enough of them at this point with only 3 episodes left.
I concur, Tiki, and with that, I'm gonna because all we know about Pike Syndicate just in general really is like I mean for mass consumption, they were the spice guys in Solo. That's about all we know about them. They run the spice trade, and they had like an episode. They showed up in an episode of the Bad Batch. That's really all I know about the Pike Syndicate. I think that's all that's really out there in terms of the animated shows and stuff. But I have not finished Rebels, so don't quote me. Anyway, my point. I'm working on the proviso, Tiki, that so long as the next episode substantially moves things forward, I think we're going to be in good shape. So long as that happens, like if we regress again, then I completely concur in that we may have made a misstep majorly here. But I mean, so long as I'm thinking next episode is going to be recruitment and getting to know the Pikes. That's what I'm expecting the next episode to be. We set up why the Pikes are dangerous and Boba's building the army. Which, by the way. Just the earlier speculation we should probably look back upon here.
Sure.
So again, the Bad Batch. The fun thing about the Bad Batch, and this is the thing I kind of had to consider because we are hoping for Captain Rex to pop up sometime, maybe the Ahsoka show or something.
That would be fun. Yeah.
If that happens, think about it. Tamar Morrison would have to come back.
I know. It'd be trippy.
Which would be trippy. Now that's the thing. So that's first. The Ahsoka's Captain Rex. Like the main clone you need is Captain Rex. Now think about this though. If they did the Bad Batch, you would have Tamar Morrison stretching his range infinitely because you have like.
Oh my God, you're right. Oh,
you'd have to play all of those clones, and they have to.
Oh, that'd be so fun. Oh, I want to see that now. I want to see that.
That's what I'm saying. If I don't necessarily. The Bad Batch does have history with Fennec Shan, so it is possible. She was in that show, and she didn't run into him, so it's possible.
All right.
I think it's more of a season 2 thing, but we'll see.
A couple comments from Donovan. He says, I don't think the Pikes are the true villains, but rather Crimson Dawn. What do you think of that?
Yeah, so Crimson Dawn, again, from Solo, they're the ones really calling the shots. And by that logic, I mean, if we're going to reveal someone that the Pikes fear, it's got to be Crimson Dawn. I imagine Crimson Dawn is going to factor into the season. I'm just wondering, like, yeah, is it going to...
What if it's, what's her name?
God. Kira.
Yeah.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. It's going to be Kira because if I recall, again, I have not finished Rebels. From what I hear, Darth Maul does not make it. So, but it would have to be Kira.
Right.
So, yeah, for sure. And also, I mean, she's going to be doing other Disney Plus series. She's doing she's going to be in the Secret Invasion show for Marvel. So she'll be around doing Disney Plus stuff. So why not get her in? So, yeah, I just wonder if with 3 episodes left, I imagine she's going to be in definitely by the last episode, or they're just going to save Crimson Dawn as like we team up and then they're all season 2. If we do a season 2 of Boba Fett, or however that works. Let's see. But yeah, Crimson Dawn.
Aid March says, hearing Din's theme again just put a big smile on my face.
Okay, so that's the big thing people probably want us to talk about. We should definitely get in there at the end here. So at the end, basically the big setup is we need muscle, which again has been the prominent thing about the show. Like, yeah, he's kind of building a small army, and I like that. He's building his own menagerie.
Right.
Of folks.
So, yeah, Din's got to come back, right? Like, that he's got to.
I know they've been teasing up some Mando stuff lately because I think people are more so leaning towards it being the like Mando season 3 than it is this. But by that logic, I just wonder if we can interrupt him from his story. That's the main concern I have. But they're definitely building to Mando stuff. It's whether they're going to do legitimately, like you'd imagine, simply it's going to be Din Djarin.
Yeah,
because he knows them. But how can you reach him if they're heading to Mandalore, which I'm going to assume is far out there? That's the thing. If like they can call him back.
Yeah, I know. You'd have to do some gymnastics.
Here's what I think. I think what we're gonna get is I think Mayfeld's gonna come back. I think we're getting Bill Burr.
That would be great.
I think Bill Burr, and at most, I mean, I think in lieu of Din Djarin, we might get some of sorry, part of me wants to say Death Watch, but I know that's not right. I'm going to say Bo-Katan. I think we're going to get Bo-Katan. So
okay. I could see
now, again,
that.
it's kind of the same issue with Din Djarin, but I'm thinking you get a more interesting dynamic because she doesn't like Boba Fett. And if she had to reluctantly help him, that would be interesting.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. But yeah, earlier, again, some of the other iconic Boba Fett era bounty hunters were mentioned, which would be interesting because you have Bosk, who essentially is a Trandoshan, like the other like lizard guys that we saw there. So you have Bosk, who is a big fan favorite. He's like on equal footing with Boba Fett in terms of people love Bosk.
Aid March says Cara Dune makes sense, but
yeah. There was talk of like Lucy Lawless being recast as her, but I don't know. I don't think it's going to happen.
Okay, first of all, that'd be amazing. It's like an older Cara Dune.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean,
I think Cara Dune has like a lot of Xena warrior princess energy for sure, but
yeah, for sure.
The age gap just would not be right if you're trying to do it in the same timeline.
So again, earlier Aid March mentioned Dengar. I think Dengar is the easiest bounty hunter to do, okay? Because we already did our IG-11 and IG-88 kind of homage by proxy.
Right.
We can't just do another IG unit because we already did that. Okay, we can't do that again. Dengar and Bosk are the most likely options if we're pulling from old school. Like if Boba Fett's going through his kind of, let me call in some old friends. He could do that. But yeah, in terms of, again, muscle just sounds like the other Mandalorians would be his go-tos.
Bo-Katan be like, oh, fine.
Hey, Aid March brings this up. I think I heard this once. Simon Pegg wants to play Dengar. Yeah.
Ooh, totally.
There you go.
Oh, yeah.
Let's bring him in as Dengar.
We need Grogu.
No, we don't. We don't need Grogu's doing his own thing right now.
That
Okay?
would be crazy.
Plus, Grogu's agent wants
Just
too much
Grogu
money.
without Din.
The last thing, this is no way would work. I mean, if Grogu came back as like a teenage Groot, which is not
Oh
how
my
that
god!
works. It's not how it works. It hasn't even been a year yet.
I know. You got a growth spurt, Dragon.
God, but that's the, let me ask you this real quick, T. This is like a whole nother conversation. Grogu season 3 of Mando. You see it happening? You see it as like a season 4 thing?
We got to check in with him.
Honestly, I'd be more impressed if we just
I would be impressed, but it's Disney. It's Bob suck all the money out of the tourist wallets, Chapek Disney, Dragon.
Well, you see what I'm saying, though, right? Where it would be really a good make or break. Like, you can do.
I see what you're saying, yeah, but
yeah, I'm just saying, given the only Mandalore feels like it's going to be Din's season again, man. But yeah, fair enough. I mean, look, I would not be like, I'm not going to be the guy saying, boo on Baby Yoda. I'm not going to be that guy.
Look, I'm saying I think we'll check in with him. I'm not saying he's going to be like a main fixture of the season.
That's a good point. All right, let's see. Oh, by the way, with the Pikes, this is a thing we speculate. It sounds like we're confirming it this episode. At least we're on a track of confirming it once we learn more about the Pikes, hopefully, next episode. Fennec, being the smart lady that she is, she figured those speeder bikers, you know, like the guys that by the way, really cool when they were shooting the crap out of those speeder bikers with the shot. That was cool. But again, now a little guilty because I'm thinking Fennec Shan's right. It was probably the Pikes kind of framing the speeder bike gang for killing.
I'm thinking, yeah, that's the vibe I got as well.
I mean, if she has doubts, those are usually well founded.
Right.
Yeah, so I'm thinking that's gonna. So again, in that regard, T, we had been kind of building up the Pikes, and that the Pikes are probably, you know, they killed
in the background, like very slowly in the background. Yeah,
I was not saying there isn't room to grow on the surface though, so we definitely, you know, could use more, you know, directly, you know, saying that, sure. Yeah. All right. Oh, the Bantha, T. What do you think about the Bantha?
I don't know. I thought I love the practical effect. I love that it's become a character in its own right. I thought the parting ways was a little bit cheesy. The whole like, go make Bantha babies. I was like, okay, that doesn't really feel like something Boba Fett would.
We said a Boba's an animal lover, though. He likes space animals.
Fair enough. Dragon, I'm just bitter that we didn't get that Bantha people mover ride at Galaxy's Edge. I still want that so much.
Think about how cool it is, though. The fact that we I think for the first time ever, they've done a practical Bantha.
Oh yeah.
And that's pretty cool.
It is.
And it looked great.
All right.
Yeah. So I think unless you see anything kind of pressing in the comments, Tig,
I think we pretty much. Well, Donovan's pointed out. I thought they confirmed that Mando only has one more season left. Is that true?
What? Okay. Well,
because if that's the case, then yeah, we absolutely have to have Grogu in it.
Okay, so not officially, but I'm just saying that's the writing's been on the wall in one of two things, and either that Pedro Pascal's done after 3, or they're like the word is. Again, none of this has been officially said one way or another. I know that much. All I know is because we almost covered this once on the news, but we decided not to because it's really not confirmed. Where it sounds like if Mando goes on, they're just going to change the namesake or change the designated Mandalorian. Like perhaps it could become Bo-Katan's show, or perhaps it could, you know, like something like that, or like. But it sounds like I don't know if. Either that, or they're going to change the name completely and have it be the same show. It's
unclear. I mean, I was going to say like I'm not really. I mean, I thought that the potential to have Boba Fett be the Mandalorian was there. Bo-Katan, though, I'm not sure. I just don't think she has the star power to literally be the Mandalorian.
Well, that's the thing, T. Trust me. She's got like I know she's very big in the animated stuff, so I think there'd be an audience for it. But and again, maybe I think season 3 will be the determining factor.
Well, what can I say, Dragon? I'm a filthy casual. I mean, I like Bo-Katan, but I'm not like I'm not like, you know, like foaming at the mouth for a series.
Well, you're right. What I'm saying is, if she impresses in season 3, maybe your tune might change. If she impresses in 3, because she's gonna have a bigger role in 3. That much we know.
I mean, like I said, I liked her quite a bit in 2, so it's like, you know, but. Anyways.
Well, we don't know any of this again. This has not been confirmed at all. All we know is we're getting at least 3 seasons of Dengar and Mandalorian. We know that much. So it's going to be, we'll take it from there, see how it goes.
But I mean, regardless, the season 3 is the last Din Djarin season of Mandalorian. Then I absolutely think that Grogu should continue to be a big part of the plot.
Sure.
All right. I think they combine all of the shows for the Siege of Mandalore as season 4 of Mando. Yeah, I can see that. All right. And I think that's it.
All right. Well, let's thank the folks.
Okay. Well, big thanks to Aid March and Donovan Martin. You guys are awesome. I can just keep praise on you guys all day for all the cool and insightful comments. It's been a great show. All right. That'll do it for us this week as we holster our remotes till the next installment calls for the draw. Mano y mano, just Plus and us.
Cobbett, where's my armor?
Sarlacc Pit. We're going into the Sarlacc Pit.